Welcome back. This is Redline News Network. My name is Jet Likings.
And I'm Vic Morano. Welcome to your home for supercar community news.
Action-packed episode this week. We have Aventador ×3. We have the Flood Bug is back. And we have the fastest streetcar in Colorado. So sit back, relax, let's take it to Redline. Before we get started, the content creator ticker is now scrolling across the bottom of your screen. This will show you your favorite content creators' subscribers, likes, dislikes, and comments for the previous week. The subscribers are abbreviated by a 3 or 4 letter acronym. Check the description below to figure out who is who.
Kicking off our first bit of Aventador news, Thursday, October 29th, Stradman reveals the new to him 2016 Lamborghini Aventador Roadster. This is a Pirelli edition with only 15 ever made. We find out that he will be Liberty Walk wide-bodying this, so stay tuned for that. Strad is still on the hunt for the JDM car as well. Next week, he will be test driving a Mark IV Supra, narrowing it down to either an R35 GTR or the Mark IV Supra. Monday, Strad sells his 458 to his buddy Chandler, the same guy who bought his C8 Corvette. He mentions how he doesn't need 2 Roadsters and feels like YouTube is a little diluted with Ferrari wide-body content and no one's really doing an Aventador right now. Wednesday, he travels down to Newport, California to visit Dan M. I's hypercar collection. This guy has one of the craziest collections I've ever seen, with 3 Pagani Zondas, a Lamborghini Centenario, McLaren Speedtail, GTR Pro, the list goes on and on. It's crazy. He gets to drive the 17-foot center seat Speedtail, and he goes over some cool, unique features. So Stradman, keep up the good content.
Let's shift on over to the second piece of Aventador news this week. Before we get there, with daily driven exotics, we start out our Redline week on Thursday with the straight pipe 488. This thing is loud. It sounds like a naturally aspirated engine. Not only that, they're going to add light bars to this thing. They're going to throw a ski rack on it. As you know, DDE is up in Canada. This thing is going to be a Ferrari snowmobile. Looking forward to this build. We take it to Saturday, October 31st, and we learn that they are selling the Mercy. They are going to list it for $499,000 USD. If you are interested in a 6-speed gated Mercy, hit up Damon at DDE. And then we also learned that the YouTube viewers want an SVJ on the channel. More to come with that coming soon. And then we see later on in that episode, they take out the motor to redo the clutch on the Mercy and get it right for the next buyer. And then we learned that the 488 wrap is going to be a nod to Bugatti. So I think we can expect a nice light blue or baby blue wrap on the 488 coming soon. On Tuesday, November 3rd, we see the Huracan Evo Aperta Supercharger. This thing is in neon yellow. It's looking sweet. And it's funny, they start off the episode and they're looking at a Bugatti Chiron and they kind of joke around how they can't afford the insurance on that thing. We all know about that from the P1 days just a couple of weeks ago. But then they also look at an SVJ under the cover and say they're interested, but they need it in the right spec for the channel. And then later on, Damon says he's officially going on the hunt for an SVJ. Please head over to that episode and comment what color and spec that you want to see on the DDE channel. And then we see a sneak preview for the wrap on the Aperta. It looks like it's going to be a neon yellow, almost similar to the Supercharger color. And then at the end, we learn that Dave actually bought a 2008 Mercedes S550. Kind of interesting. We know the G-Wagon's kind of out of commission, but interesting that he goes and buys another Mercedes to drive around while the G-Wagon's getting fixed. And Easter egg in that one is we see Jamie, the editor, at the end of that video. So pretty cool. And then for Tuesday via Instagram, we see Dave getting another tattoo on his head. So most likely they're finishing up the tattoo that was started the other day. And then on Wednesday, we learn that Anthony is actually sticking around the channel, which is interesting because a lot of people, it seems like, come and go on the channel, like Chris and Gabe. But it seems like Anthony from Mad Whips is here to stay. So good stuff from DDD. Check out their channel when you get a chance.
Over to TJ Hunt with the third bit of Aventador news this week. Sunday, November 1st. After waiting about 3 months for his new Aventador wheels, they're finally here. He got some bronze HRE S111s. Take a look at these. Taking the stock wheels off and mounting these things on, in my opinion, totally transformed the look of this car. On Tuesday's video, he lets his girlfriend Sabrina's little sister drive his R8. If you guys haven't seen these videos already, head over to TJ Hunt's page and drop him a sub.
Drifting on over to Sheepy Race, this is where we see the fastest street car in Colorado. But before we get there, we start off the Redline week on October 30th, Friday, with a customer who has second thoughts on their R8. Basically, Alex is developing a stage 1 package for the R8s and Huracans. This utilizes the OE ECU rather than going to the Motec standalone. Alex also gets into the whole Charger Wars thing and compares how a stage 1 turbo kit is very similar to a supercharger that you can put on the R8s and Huracans. But Alex stays very Switzerland per se and doesn't bash the turbo side of it or the supercharger side of it. He then takes a customer on a test drive in a stage 2 plus package and throws it into kill mode. This customer might not be getting that stage 1 package anymore and might be upgrading to a stage 2. We then move on to Tuesday via YouTube, and this is where we see the fastest street car in Colorado make some runs on the drag strip. Basically, they take a 2,000 horsepower Sheepy built Huracan and run an 8.5 at 180 miles per hour at altitude from a dig. This is the fastest street car driven at that track in Colorado. Good stuff for Sheepy. Congratulations to that pass. Let's take it on over to the Flood Bug, aka the Flooded Bugatti. This week with Royalty Exotics on Halloween Saturday via YouTube, we see Houston building his third Bugatti. Basically, Houston has stumbled across an entire pallet full of Bugatti parts like seats, a dashboard, center consoles, a steering wheel. He's collecting these parts, which we know are extremely difficult to source these days. And he jokes at the end about possibly taking an R8 and turning it into a Bugatti. Or he said it'd be a shame if he could stumble across a Bugatti that basically has been flooded. Now, we know that Bugatti that drove into a lake years ago for the insurance fraud. Is this a vehicle that Houston is going to purchase to put all these parts in? Can't wait to see.
Taking it over to Street Speed 717. Sunday, October 29th, Mike takes delivery of his dream car, a 1963 split-window C2 Corvette. Numbers matching, the thing is super clean. He takes it for his first ride, and we get to see some nice cinematic shots. Moving over to Tuesday, we get a more in-depth overview of the car. This is the only year for the split window, making it very desirable for Corvette collectors. And some modifications that are not original, such as the side pipe exhaust and some fiberglass cracks that were fixed. Overall, super clean car. Congrats, Mike, on getting your dream car. Capping off Street Speed 717's Redline week, he heads to his buddy Send It Steve's house to pick up his finished Blazer. If you guys haven't seen this, the thing is crazy. Big wheels, lifted, full tubular chassis. Go over to Street Speed 717 and check it out.
Let's head on over to Mondi's channel. On November 1st, Sunday, we see his brand new $200,000 project car. Before we get there, we get an update on his fleet. These are just the notables, like the GT3 RS twin turbo. This thing will be getting an engine fully rebuilt, and this is due to him losing against a 720S that was heavily modified. And then he talks about his RWB Porsche that he might be turning into a drift car. Kind of interesting. Can't wait to see those builds. And then he goes into his project car, which is a 2020 Mercedes-Benz AMG GTR Pro. I mean, this thing just looks amazing. I love this car. But he's talking about he's going to chop it up as soon as he, takes delivery of it, and he's going to put a wide body kit on it, some wheels, an exhaust, and he's going to give it a crazy wrap. Before he gets there, it's actually going to go over to Gintani the following day, and it's going to get an ECU flash and bring it up to about 700 horsepower. And it was kind of cool too. Before he leaves the showroom from picking up his Benz, he shows the salesman a picture of an update of the hypercar that he's actually working on, and gives us an Easter egg that he'll be building 25 a year of this car, and then it's got more than a 1-to-1 power to weight ratio. I can't wait to see what Mondi's building and actually see this car being driven on the road. Keep it up, Mondi.
Donut Media with 3 videos this week. 5 scariest car stories, getting cool cars into video games, and DIY subwoofer versus store-bought. Head on over to Donut Media and check them out.
Heading on over to Emelia on October 30th on Thursday, we see her twin turbocharged Corvette C8 being completely built in 15 minutes. Pretty cool. And then we head on over to Tuesday, November 3rd with her K-swapping her Prius Part 2. Now, before she starts that episode, she lets us know that the new merch drop will be live November 7th at 10 a.m. So head over to her channel if you need the details. Back to the Prius with the K-swap. The engine seems to fit nice. They did have to use custom engine mounts, also a custom fuel cell because they couldn't get to the original pump in the OE Prius fuel tank. After they get the engine mounted, it's pretty cool where they mounted the shifter. We won't tell you. You're going to have to head over to her channel to see. And then she leaves off that episode with some C8 news coming soon. Now, she says there's a huge update. Doesn't really let us know what that news is, but that it's a huge update. Could this be a clutch? What is it? We shall see soon.
Doug Demuro with only one video this week, and it's not your typical car review. It's why the NSX is shooting up in value. He touched upon some interesting points, so if this interests you, go over to Doug and check him out.
2 uploads from Hoovies Garage this week. On Friday, he buys the cheapest G55 AMG on the market, and then on Wednesday, they go over everything that's broken on that G55 AMG. Go check out Hoovies Garage.
6 videos from Vinwiki this week. The New York Fire Department versus Jeep. The results of the car flipping contest. Doug's top 10 car stories. Reunited with Dad's 2000 GT. The found, stolen, rare Mercedes-Benz. And what happens when rear-ending a G-Wagon at 60 miles an hour. Busy week for Vinwiki.
Craig Lieberman posted this week, and if you don't know, Craig Lieberman was the technical advisor in Fast and the Furious 1, but on Sunday via YouTube, he goes over how to build a Fast and the Furious replica. Now, he states that you need to start with a body kit, get the wheels, get the wing, and then purchase the car, but that's all we're going to tell you. For the rest, head over to Craig Lieberman's channel. 4 videos from Shmee150 this week. On Thursday, he goes over the Apollo IE, aka the Orange Dragon. On Saturday, he revisits the SSC. Now, if you missed it, check out our last week's episode where we kind of visit with the SSC and go over the conspiracy of the possibility that the car did not do the average speed of 316 miles per hour. The link to that video is below. But Shmee does a great job doing a final recap of that, and Shmee actually gets invited to go to the next run of it, because if you missed it, Jared Shelby stated that they will be doing another run of the Tuatara just because of all the bad data that's out there. But then we finish off the Shmee week on Monday, looking at the Pagani Huayra on a track, and then on Wednesday, really cool episode, he actually gets to visit the Jägermeister 72 Stag Power collection. Go check out Shmee's channel. Rich Rebuilds gives us 1 video this week. On Sunday, November 1st, it's part 2 of him restoring the Mini Cooper with a $200 electric motor. Now, as a reminder, he purchased this vehicle for $1,500 and wants to make it fully electric for $5,000 total. Now, this is a longer video and it does get a little techie, but if you're into this stuff, check out Rich Rebuilds. Well, hey, that wraps up this week at Redline News Network. It's just great to see this community continue to propel itself forward during these tough times. But hey, come back every Friday for new episodes.
Like, comment, subscribe, and while you're at it, check out our Instagram.
Until next time, keep it at Redline.